has conquered the heavens, broken the sound barrier, reached out for the moon. Now, after 2 years of production, the expenditure of millions, the assembling of an internationally renowned cast of stars, 20th Century Fox proudly brings you the fabulous, fantastic story of the men whose skill and courage started it all.
Those magnificent men in their flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They entangle the ladies and steal the scene when they're up to the up and they're down to the down.
This film was also taken around 1969. It is somewhat scratched, as you can see, but I think the content is worth keeping. These are Piper Cherokees. We flew mostly Piper Cherokees during this time. This is Ken doing his pre-flight check. And somehow or other he got hold of the camera while I did my pre-flight check.
Those magnificent men in their flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They entangle the ladies and steal the scene when they're up to the up and they're down to the down. Up, round, flying around, looping the loop and defying the crown.
Here we are heading out over the Ardmore airfield. That's Papakura in the background. I think at the moment we're over the Hunua Ranges, meeting up with Ken. This is a rare shot of Brian Cox, our instructor. About 1969, this film was taken during one day at Ardmore when we were learning to fly. This was Ken Young Landing, if I remember correctly. This bulk off is what the rest of this little film is about. Very famous New Zealand pilot, instructor and Corsair fighter pilot during the war, took me with my camera and we went up the stairs to do some aerobatics. Ardmore Airfield, over the Hunua Ranges here, around Clevedon area, over Ardmore. This was our first loop. At about 4,000 feet. Barrel roll. Numerous other turns and twists. With Ardmore Airfield doing these aerobatics, normally not allowed just there, but with Brian Cox at the helm, one could get permission to do anything. On our way home, we met up with another club plane, and Brian Cox decided to do a simulated Corsair attack in the form of a barrel roll, and this is what he used to do during the war with his Corsair aeroplanes. I tried to follow the Cherokee, the one in front of us, in the camera, but found it very difficult. I recall this day, one of the other pilots learning to fly got a stone caught in his nose wheel and skidded off the runway into the ditch. No harm was done, other than a bent propeller and a bent nose wheel. And this is the same pilot about an hour later, regaining his nerve. took some of the School for Deaf boys out one day and had a look at what was going on. This is what's this plane? A Beaver, I think. A little bit of gliding. Tiger Moth acting as a tow plane for the gliders. Ken with a class of boys. We took some of them for a ride one day in 3 aeroplanes. This was that day. 3 airplanes full of boys over the School for Deaf. This is me actually taking off, I recall. Back with the boys from school. Dennis Tehow, Stephen Tehow, Dennis Crichton, Ken. Here's the bulk off again. This was my landing, I think. Yep, a bit hard, that one. This day was one of our cross-country flights. With an instructor. We flew up the Whangarei this day. Here we are over the Hauraki Gulf looking at Rangitoto Island, Music Point. Bounds Island. Our first stop was at Dairy Flat Airfield. We took off from Dairy Flat and flew north over Waiwera and Wendohome, heading for Whangarei. We were just under the cloud base, about 2 to 3,000 feet as we came over Marsden Point Oil Refinery. Finally, Whangarei Airstrip, Airport. One of the old Sunderland flying boats, now at the Museum of Transport and Technology. Landing into the sun is always difficult. And touchdown. A quick check on the flight plans. And we then swapped pilots, and it was my turn to fly. I flew from Whangarei to Kaipara Airfield. Almost dusk here. Still enough daylight to fly in. Brian Cox again, and we flew back to Auckland. This film here is another day altogether when Peter Ballingall, Ken Young and I left Ardmore early in the morning to fly to Great Barrier Island. We had a very interesting day. We had one of the bigger Cherokees that day, Charlie Victor Juliet, one we had not flown before. If I remember correctly, it had a more powerful engine and 5 seats. We left with a few patches of fog still on the ground about 6 o'clock in the morning. Flew in perfectly calm air over the Hauraki Gulf, over Waiheke Island, and on Great Barrier in the distance. We finally found the airstrip, not much bigger than a postage stamp. That's it there. We actually took 2 circuits to get down to the ground. It was so short, but safely on the ground. We then had our lunch and went off to have a look at a section that Peter Ballingall was thinking of buying in this terrible old car over these terrible rough roads. Beautiful section. Peter didn't buy it, but we enjoyed the day. This was the beach just by the airport, the airfield, with Peter acting the goat as usual. Full brakes, full throttle, and off we went on our way back to Ardmore.